this is Pastor Steele, and it is Still Strong Podcast. I'm sitting here with my three sons.
What's up, everybody? I'm Isaiah Steele.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Isaac Steele.
What's up? It's Ira Steele.
And really quick, I mean, obviously, we finally made it to the end of the year. I feel like this football season went by so fast. It's crazy how I feel like every year it goes faster and faster and faster. But it is finally Super Bowl weekend. We've got a huge game between the 49ers and the Chiefs coming up this Sunday. I'm excited for it, over the way in Nevada, Las Vegas, which is right down the street from us here in Phoenix. Obviously, the cheapest ticket in that place is $8,000, and the Steelers ain't in it, so we ain't going. We gonna have us a good time at my dad's house, hang out, watch the game with everybody.
Yep.
But with it being Super Bowl weekend, kind of want to get into some Super Bowl topics. What's the earliest Super Bowl that you remember, like from your lifetime?
I say probably there was one in 1975 when Lynn Swann had some crazy catches in that game. It was against the Cowboys. So I can go, Steelers Cowboys. So I can go all the way back to those days.
Yeah.
So those would be my early.
You were
about
like
five.
5 years old.
5 years old.
Dang, yeah.
Those are my earliest memories. Because my dad always had the TV on sports, especially football.
Gotcha.
But those are my earliest memories of him making those catches.
And I know football was like a different time back then. You could actually tackle people and whatnot.
Right.
You know, the equipment looked different.
Right.
Everything like
The
that.
helmets were squishy still.
Yeah, there's squishy helmets and whatnot. The face mask was just invented. Dang, so you was like 5 years old when you first remember.
5
What
years
about
old.
you, Ike?
Man, first one I remember, I would say, probably that Steelers Seahawks.
Oh, okay.
Honestly.
What year was that?
That was at 9.
06,
huh?
06, right?
Yeah,
Had to
it
be
was.
06.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to be 06 because I really didn't watch football. Of course, we played it, but
Sure.
I never really got into it and watched it, not until my later years, honestly. But
Yeah.
the earliest one I remember was Seahawks Steelers.
So you're probably
That one
like
was good.
7.
I was like, about 7, 8 years
6,
old.
7 years
It was
old.
right after the Copperhead season, so I
Okay.
was like 7, 8 years old. Yeah.
Okay. That's like when you know how you were like at such a young age, you don't sit down and watch the whole game. You kind of watching
Right,
increments.
bits and
Yeah,
pieces.
Because like you outside playing with the friends or like, you know,
Right.
in the kitchen playing whatever. That's cool. 7
Yeah.
years. What about you, Ike?
Man, the first Super Bowl I remember watching, of course, I was a kid, so I was like bouncing around. But I remember it was the Patriots versus Eagles, 2004. I remember watching that. We were at a friend's house from the church. I remember being there. I remember like just going in and out because I remember we were playing football in the backyard while the game was going on.
Yeah.
And I remember I was going for the Eagles. That's when they had
I
T.O.
remember that. I
and
remember
McNabb and all them.
Oh, yeah.
All Patriots
Yeah,
Eagles. Yep.
Patriot. And then of course the Patriots went on to win the game. But I was probably 2004, so I was about 4.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
so
When
first
Tom, literally Tom dominated your whole life, all of our
Yeah,
lives, really. So that's really when he took off. For me, man, it was the earliest I remember was Rams Titans.
Oh, wow.
I grew up like y'all know. My first team were the Tennessee Titans. I was a huge Eddie George fan.
I remember that.
And I low-key cried when they lost, man. If y'all remember, my man tried to stick it across the goal line with no time left.
That was in 99.
I was so sick about that.
1999.
99, so I was about 7 years old.
Dang.
I remember
Yeah.
watching that game at my grandmother's house. I remember exactly. That was the day I really would say I fell in love with football. Like in that moment, I was just like, this is the greatest thing ever. You know, seeing how it was and how big of a deal it was. And yeah, man, that was probably my earliest one. What do y'all think was the best Super Bowl you guys have seen?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Come back to me on that one.
The
That's
best?
tough.
You know, I got to go with that Steeler Cardinal. I
Yeah.
mean, the game we almost lost.
Yeah.
Thank God for Santana Holmes, wasn't it?
Yep, San Antonio Holmes.
Yeah, caught that ball in the back of the end zone.
He caught like
Kept-
4 or 5 balls that
kept-
drive.
Yeah, he kept
going
his
on.
toes in there.
He caught
I
every
mean,
pass that drive.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it,
Yeah.
except for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Roethlisberger's guy, if you will. But I think that was probably one of the best, especially with my man that ran that ball back, 99 yards.
Oh, James Harrison.
James Harrison.
Yeah, man, that boy, we'll probably never see something like that again. A 99-yard interception return.
Yeah.
I mean, never say never, but even when he scored the touchdown and got in the end zone at the end, Mike Tomlin said he ran over there and said, "Are you okay?" And he said he looked at him and said, "I'm tired, boss."
That's cool.
That's cool.
I would say the best Super Bowl. I remember, of course, I could say Steelers Cardinals, but you know, non-Steelers, I'm gonna have to say that Seahawks Patriots game for 2015.
Oh, man.
When the Seahawks should have won. Of course,
Yeah.
they didn't throw the ball on the 1-yard line. That was a good game.
It
straight
was.
up.
It was.
And I remember that last drive where Marshawn caught that wheel route.
Yeah.
And I remember Jermaine Kearse caught a crazy catch too on Malcolm Butler, the guy who ended up making the interception to win
Yeah.
the game. I just remember that last drive. And that's definitely probably the best Super Bowl I've watched.
Yeah.
That's
man.
a good one.
That's a great one.
I would say Giants Patriots, the first one, that
Yeah,
helmet
07.
catch,
That's
07.
crazy.
Oh,
That
Tyree
game,
did it.
that game was good.
That was
That was
crazy.
a
I went
good
back
game.
and watched it.
That
They
was here
hitting,
too. That was in Arizona.
That was in AZ.
I remember.
Both of those
We went
games.
to the
Both of them?
Yeah, the one that I was
We went to the
talking
NFL
about.
experience that
07.
year, huh?
Yep.
07.
Yeah.
we went. I remember that.
Because I think So
Patriots were undefeated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
They sure were.
We'll never see anybody come close to that again with as many games and how much talent there is in the league.
everybody's good now.
We'll
Yeah.
never see somebody 17-0
Right.
walking into the Super Bowl. Or really at that point you would be 19-0 if you count the
What,
two
playoff
playoff
games?
games.
Playoff games.
Yeah, we'll probably never see that again. But man,
True.
the Giants came in there.
They came in there and ruined
On
it.
it. And then first of all, they barely made the playoffs that year. People forget.
They were a wild card.
It was like 9 and 6
9-7.
or
Yeah,
9 and 7,
9-7.
and barely, by the skin of their teeth
Yeah.
made it.
Yep.
And end up taking down a juggernaut, and that was Randy Moss over there,
Yeah.
and you had, of course, Tom Brady, and I mean their
Teddy
defense,
Bruschi.
Teddy Bruschi,
Right.
Rodney
Yeah.
Harrison.
They were loaded.
Yeah, I mean it was.
Asante Samuel.
I wasn't even really paying attention to the games to the fourth quarter because I'm thinking Patriots just gonna
Sure.
run it off
Yeah.
like how they done every other game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one. My best game I've seen, and I hate to say it, but man, the Falcons Patriots in 2016.
Yeah, I remember that.
Down 20, they were down 28-3 with I think 3:11 in the third quarter, and
Yeah.
Tom Brady just does what Tom Brady does, brings them all the way back.
Yeah.
Between Amendola and Edelman, all these little receivers that no one knew about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They come down. Charles White, the running back that no one really knew about. Patriots come down and end up winning that game and beating Atlanta. That's when I was really like, okay, even if you may not like Tom Brady,
Right.
but that was the moment I was like, I respect
Yeah, it had to.
this dude. Like,
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't bet
That was one
against
of the
him.
moments he became a GOAT. Of course, there's other moments, but that was the main
I fell
one.
asleep
feel
during
like.
that game.
Me too.
A lot of
It was
people
my
did.
senior year of high school. I remember I was like third quarter after half. I'm gonna take a nap real quick. This game's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Woke up and it's tied up. I'm like, what's
Weren't
going
we
on?
We were at Rob Golden's
Rob's
house.
house,
At
yeah.
the time, he was playing with the Steelers.
Yeah.
I took a nap on a beanbag at his house. I remember that. I'm thinking this ball game.
That's funny. I was on the other beanbag.
We
I
sat
was
there
knocked out.
stunned.
I couldn't believe that, especially
Speechless.
Especially when that overtime came and the Patriots got the ball. I was like, wow, the Patriots won the toss.
They're
That's
gonna
game
win.
over.
They're gonna
We're
win.
about to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did it.
Honestly, that was the moment everybody knew. Patriots win the toss, they want the ball. I mean, it's a wrap. You know,
game.
you got the GOAT, Tom Brady. It's crazy. What's the best play that y'all have seen in the Super Bowl before? We've talked about the earliest one you've seen, the best one that we've seen. What's the best play? Just one play
one
in the
play.
Super Bowl that you think stood out to you the most?
Man, Santonio Holmes catch. Steelers
In the corner.
against the Cardinals in the corner.
Yeah.
There's one, Ben Roethlisberger threw a dime. I
That
don't
was
know
a
if y'all
dot.
know about that.
There was 3 DBs.
There was 3 DBs, bro. Threw
Yeah.
a dime.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
on top of that, when they show the Super Bowl, they always show that play.
Sure.
So that's
Yeah.
an automatic highlight. So I would say that play is the best one I've seen.
And I got to go with the gentleman that Tyreek was it?
Yeah,
his
David
name for the
Tyree.
Giants
Yeah.
catching that ball in his
On his
helmet.
head,
Yeah.
yeah.
Matter of fact, they even did a documentary on that. That was his last catch ever.
Yeah, in the NFL.
Yeah, in the NFL. Now he actually, I think he got hurt the next year, and then the following year he got traded to the Ravens.
Yeah.
but he did special teams.
Yep.
Wow.
Never
Yeah.
caught. Never caught.
Never
a
was
caught
his
a
ball.
last
that was
catch.
his last catch ever.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
At least it was a Super Bowl winning catch.
Heck yeah. Shoot, not many people can say that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Man, I'm gonna say that's hard. I would say either both of y'all plays is like top to me, honestly.
Yeah.
I think another play that like lives with me and like I'll never forget was that Devin Hester opening kick return 2007.
Oh, that's a good one.
I remember my brother Zay.
I called it,
Zay
baby.
said it. When he kicked it, when they kicked the ball off, Zay said, he's thinking this is a crib.
Yep.
And Hester caught that thing and broke it.
He was different.
I'll never forget that day. Like I remember being like, wow. And you know, y'all know how it is now with special teams, especially kick returns.
Yeah.
We probably won't see an opening kick return touchdown like that. 'Cause you don't even see kick return touchdowns.
We're
in
hoping we
general.
see a return.
Yeah,
period.
yeah. barely see
Yeah.
return.
You know?
Ball just goes out the back of the end zone.
Yep.
And offense runs out. So
Yep.
as a kid, I remember that, and it makes me sad because y'all know the kick return is such an exciting play, and we still haven't, we haven't seen one like that, and probably won't happen again. So.
Nah, the way football's set up now. But
Yeah.
I remember when they kicked it, and I knew if that thing was inside the end zone or outside of the end zone, if he had a chance to catch it, he was cribbing it. And I mean, Devin Hester, who should be in the Hall of Fame, by the
100%.
way, he
100%.
should have been placed in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But it kind of is what it is with that. I'm sure he will get in eventually. But crazy kickoff return. For me, I feel like the Julian Edelman catch against the Falcons.
Yeah.
I think it was a 4th down. They were
That's crazy.
obviously down trying to get 3 different DBs there. The ball gets batted all around, and Edelman still was able to get his hands under it. To me, that
Crazy.
as a receiver, as a former receiver, I respect that play because it takes focus. especially in the biggest moment. You got bodies flying all over. Not to mention it's the fourth quarter. You're tired.
Yeah.
I mean, that catch between that play and the James Harrison interception return for 100 yards against the Cardinals. Those two, right when I think of Super Bowls, I think of those two plays right there.
Gotcha.
You know, and so that sets us up for this weekend, man. 49ers and Chiefs. I know at the beginning of the year, we kind of all made our own prediction. I'm pretty sure I said 49ers, and I said it was the Niners, and can't remember who I said was coming out the AFC, but I know I picked the Niners out the NFC. But Niners, Chiefs, they made it to the Super Bowl. Who do y'all think is going to go ahead and take this thing?
I think the Chiefs, with the experience that they have, I think obviously they've been there, done that, so they won't probably go in with the jitters like the Niners will. Definitely, it's going to take them a little while to, get the jitters, under wraps.
Yeah.
But I just think that with the veterans that the Chiefs have, and with Mahomes, you can't bet against him. So I see them winning that game. I believe it's going to be 35-21.
Dang, you saying
man.
that's a little burn, a little blowout.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They
Man,
go ahead.
I'm rocking with my homeboy, man. I gotta rock with Mahomes. Of course, we talked about it. Well, did we talk about? Yeah, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. But originally, I can't lie, I was rocking with Lamar Jackson, not the Ravens. I was rocking with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
I wanted to see
same.
him. I want to see him do it.
Yeah.
Just for us, straight up. So but I feel like a guy like Patrick Mahomes. As a kid, I used to hate on LeBron a lot. Y'all know that I was a big LeBron hater as a kid.
Yeah, sure.
Even when Stephen Curry first came around, I was like, get out of here. He plays like a kid. He plays like, but like now that I'm older, I'm going to appreciate greatness while it's in front of me.
Yeah.
Especially seeing a young legend like Patrick Mahomes in his prime. I'm going to see him just try to pile the rings up. So, I'm rocking with Mahomes, and also to the Niners. They shouldn't be playing in this game, so I don't want to see them win.
Yeah.
Barely beat Green Bay and Detroit.
Yeah, they shouldn't
Very
be either
true.
of
They
those
let
teams.
them
Skin
off
of
the
their
hook.
teeth.
Yeah.
Very true.
At home too.
Yeah.
At home both times. What about you?
I don't know. I know the Chiefs probably gonna win. I'll say that, but I will go for the Niners just because all this Taylor Swift stuff is getting on my nerves. I feel like it'll kill some of the hype. I ain't got no vendetta against her, but it's like keep it focused on football. Like she does music. That's completely separate.
Sure.
I get it. She's an icon. They call her, but I don't know, man. I'm going for the Niners, and on top of that, I want to see Brock Purdy do something, man. Arizona QB, he representing the state.
Yeah.
It'd be cool for him to win one. And I feel like the Niners are better defensively, and defense wins championships. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man. I think for me, I'm putting Patrick Mahomes in that Tom Brady category at this point.
Yeah.
If you can't bet against him. I mean, he's been there multiple times. Obviously, 12 months ago they were in this game and they won this game. I think as far as the experience in it, not to mention they play in Vegas every year. With the Raiders being in their division, so they're used to the stadium. They probably staying in the same hotel they stayed out earlier this year.
Yeah.
When they went and played against the Raiders, and they had a bad game this year and lost to the Raiders there. I think they have something that they want to prove. Obviously, don't sleep on the Niners though. I think they coming in like you said, the defense, smash mouth football is for sure coming on their end. But like I said, I think the Chiefs go ahead and pull it out. I think it's close. I think we're looking at 27-24. Going with Kansas City to walk out of there, walk off by Butker. 35-yard field goal to end the game.
Okay.
But I mean, we're gonna see some big plays from Christian McCaffrey.
I was going to say that. They have a lot of weapons.
They
Debo,
do.
McCaffrey,
Debo.
Ayuk, Kittle.
I mean, barring
all the guys.
injury, right now, if you look at the rosters against each other, the Niners have a better roster.
Yeah.
I just look at the hottest team is usually going the team that wins the Super Bowl, and right now the Chiefs are hot.
They're hot.
Yeah, they
They
are.
went to Buffalo, beat Josh Allen, who's no slouch. Then they go to Baltimore and they beat the Ravens, and nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
Right.
And then now, you're going to a Niners team that's kind of low key limping in as far as the hot streak goes. They struggled against Green Bay.
Yep.
And then they, by the grace of God, they made it out against
Man.
Detroit.
Bad
By
coaching.
Bad coaching.
Terrible
Oh, my guy, shout out to him. Great job this year. But going for it in fourth down and all that stuff, in the NFC Championship,
Yeah.
there's a time and a place to go
Right.
for it. If
That's
it's week 12, go for it.
Yeah, it's regular season
Week
stuff.
15,
Yeah.
go for
Right.
it. We got a chance to go to the bowl. Hey,
Man, I knew that coach was off the rocker when he went for it 3 times against the Cowboys. I'm like,
what I'm saying.
They call him Dan Gamble. I'm like, man, come on,
Dan
man.
Gamble.
That boy went for it 3 times against the Cowboys, going for 2. Like, just kick the field goal.
Get the points, man.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll learn his lesson. They'll draw him in and talk to him. I'm sure.
I know the GM was probably like, dude, you tripping.
You tripping,
You can't
bro.
do that.
They're
next
lucky
year.
that wasn't Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones would have called down from the box. Hey, man, call timeout. Y'all ain't picking that. That's why I rock with Jerry Jones. You know, I have my comment about Jerry Jones, but Jerry don't play that. Jerry will make a boss call from the top. If you see that field goal, if you see that them going for it on that first down,
He calling timeout.
He calling timeout from the booth.
You see up there like this.
We're not doing that.
That'd be crazy, man.
Wow.
But yeah, so I say Chiefs win the game. I think it's gonna be a great game, 27-24.
Yeah.
And enjoy the Super Bowl. We hope you all enjoy it as well.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
gonna be
a
good.
drama-free, good time with the family. You know, sit back, relax.
Yep.
Check out some of these new commercials. I'm sure they're gonna drop.
Usher at halftime.
at
Usher gonna be
halftime.
fire.
halftime,
Hey,
yeah.
Usher got hits, man. I'm
Hey.
excited for that.
People not really sleep on Usher no more because he's been killing it in
That boy
Vegas.
done
Oh
ruined-
man, people be at his
Yeah.
concerts all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You got that ruining marriages,
Yeah.
boy. You ain't forgot. I don't want my girl going without me to that Usher concert. You can't go, baby. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, man. He be pulling the girls on stage
Yeah.
and having them at Dre's.
Serenading them, singing to him. Like, I can't
Yes.
sing or dance like Usher. I don't look like him, baby. You can't go to that show.
Can't
without
go.
me.
I need you in the
I'm
balcony
sorry.
up top. We
Right.
gonna keep you away from
That's
Usher.
funny.
But that should be a good time too. Speaking of celebrities, man, something came out this week that kind of draw our attention, if you will. Shaquille O'Neal said on the podcast. We all know Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant big man in all of sports, all of basketball, I should say. He came out and said that you can never open up to a woman because they'll use it against you. I think this comment kind of caused a lot of controversy. A lot of females are upset about it. A lot of men are upset. Some men agree. Some females agree. What do y'all think? Is it true you can never open up to a woman? You've been married now for 31 years.
Yep. Next month.
Yeah,
31
next
years.
month. Do you think? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I believe that you should be able to be vulnerable with your wife. Y'all have heard me use from the pulpit. There are some things you need to take to your graveyard.
For sure.
You know, you don't, because you got to know what level your wife can handle certain situations, what certain topics she can handle. But I do believe there comes a time where, you should be vulnerable, with your spouse. I mean, you're one flesh. The Bible says the two have become one.
Right.
And I believe that your wife should be your best friend. So I do believe that, you should be able to be vulnerable with your wife. And I believe, and then, appreciate Shaq and all he's done in the NBA and all he's doing with his endorsement deals. But that could be part of the reason why he's divorced. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, because I think that's unhealthy if you keep everything in. Now, I do believe there are some things that you should probably take to another man. Like if you're having some other challenges, that you don't feel, that you should be, sharing with your wife. You need to be vulnerable with somebody, but I believe that, 80, 90% of the time you should be able to be vulnerable with your wife. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. What do y'all think you guys are single young men? What do y'all think
Yeah.
as far as that goes?
I mean, I feel like you should to a certain extent. It's different levels to it. Like you said, when you're married, yeah, you can share more because you get to know her more. You
Right.
get to see what level she could take. But
Yeah.
I feel like in a dating period, like you said, also keep stuff to yourself. Take it to the grave. But I feel like you should still be vulnerable and share things of communication. You should share things about, what your struggle is right now, especially if she's like she has a Christian base, you can let her know what you're struggling with. Of course, again, it's levels to it, but
Yeah.
you can at least let her, scratch the surface, let her know a little bit of something. But I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind of tough, honestly. But I feel like you can share things with her, again, just to a certain extent. That's really
Right.
my answer.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really my
good.
answer.
Yeah,
Not everything,
You're saying
especially
with
when y'all just
discretion.
dating. Yeah, with
Right.
discretion.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
that's
trying to
good.
say.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. What about you?
Yeah,
Ira?
I'm not married, so I'm kind of speaking from a inexperienced standpoint. But I would agree with you, Dad. Honestly, what you said, just you should be very expressive, but also call one of your homeboys if you need to, brother, friend,
Yep.
dad, uncle, whoever you trust. But also too, I feel like if you're going into a relationship and you have that mindset that Shaq has, you shouldn't just be in a relationship. If you can't be vulnerable with your woman, that's the point of a woman, is to let out that side, is to let her know things. Hey, I don't like this, or hey, I have this going on. And like you said, you need discretion. You shouldn't let everything out because there is women out here, most definitely, that will throw things in your face, and there's also men that will throw things in a woman's
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
So you have to know who you're dealing with in the situation, and I feel like that's one thing that's also messed up. A man shouldn't. If I feel like as a man, I can't tell you things because you can throw it back at me. I just don't want to be with you to begin with.
Yeah.
Right.
Because now now and vice versa with the man. Because now if a woman feels like you can't tell a man things, now she gonna tell another dude. So
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And he might be a better listener. He might get things. So it's a definitely a double-edged sword. But I feel like as a man, like I said, the main thing is if you feel like you cannot be vulnerable with that woman, you should really consider what's going on with you in that relationship.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. That's what I was going to say. The main thing for me is if before you get into a relationship or you call somebody, before a girlfriend or somebody who you want to potentially have as a wife one day, I feel like you have to have a point where I can be completely open with this person because they're my best friend, number one. Yeah. And number two, I know I can be open with them because they're not going to use it against me. If you got a question what you're going to tell your girl about what you're going through or personally, she's probably not meant for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's probably somebody that you should really consider if you really have a future with, because when it comes to this thing called life, if you really want to have a life partner or someone who you call a wife, they got to have your back in all situations. Yeah. And you shouldn't have to worry about, in the next argument, she going to be like, that's why you cried yourself to sleep 2 weeks ago. Wow. Because your friend didn't pay you your money or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's the stuff I think Shaq is saying. He's saying, like, I don't want nobody throwing my vulnerability back in my face, making me feel like a lesser of a man. And unfortunately, Shaq kind of sounds jaded in a sense, where he's obviously experienced that before. And now when you get jaded, you closed off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You get to that closed off stage. True. And now you're not open to nobody. And now, his wife has since moved on and got married. And, I think Shaq's going to be one of them guys that never gets married again, and that's okay. If that's his prerogative, but definitely you start to develop some trust issues and really just not being able to open up. That's what marriage is for, to be able to open up to someone from a different perspective and from a different sex than you, to maybe helpfully give you a different perspective on how to deal with those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel like having that mindset sad. Having that mindset, towards a woman is not good because that's going to spill over to every relationship.
Yep.
From your friends to your mom, dad, family members,
with your kids,
to your kids even. Like you can't be. You're not going to want to open up, and you're going to always have that guard up, and that's just going to make you. That's going to make you hard-hearted. Wow. And that's not good. No one wants you, and you can sense it.
Wow.
You can having that type of personality, that type of personality traits. You can't hide it. It's going to come out, and people are not going to even want to really talk to you, and you're going to be a stone wall. So it's not good at all.
That's good. I think part of the reason why men move like that is because number one, they got trust issues.
Yep.
And number two, I believe not only do they have trust issues, but also they let their ego play a factor as well. And I think that's where, because that woman, when you get married, she should be that person that has your answer, if you will. Proverbs 11:14 says, "In a multitude of counsel, there's safety." Yeah. So if you do hit a wall, and I'm grateful, I've hit plenty of them in 33 years that I've been with my wife, and I've been able to get counsel from her, and it's been really good counsel, praise God. I can say the good has outweighed the bad. It's some things, she said, and I'm like, well, I got to process that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
let
saying?
me think on it.
Yeah, let me chew on that a little bit. But then there's been times where she's hit it right on the nail. And so I'm grateful that in these 33 years that I'm able to be vulnerable with her, when it comes to certain things in our marriage and certain things just in life in general. So
that's good.
That's all good stuff, man. And if you're out there struggling as far as like you feel like you don't have nobody to talk to, if you've got a wife or you got a girlfriend, if you feel like you can't open up and talk to them, I mean, that's something you got to really figure out where that stemmed from. Who hurt you in the past that has you closed off, or what has happened in the past with that individual that has you closed off, and get to the bottom of it. Because the last thing I would want is to be with somebody I can't talk to.
Wow,
that's me. I'd rather be. What's that saying? I can do bad all by myself.
Yep.
And I think that's the mentality that Shaq's in. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need to open up to nobody.
Wow.
And another thing too is I feel like most men men kind of feel weak because usually a cliche says the girl's supposed to come to you with her problems, really, because a girl is more vulnerable, more emotional, more open with that stuff.
Right.
But with a guy, when he does it, it kind of makes him look weak.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it makes it like people say like the girl kind of doesn't respect you as much, like if you cry in front of your girl or whatever.
Sure.
But I disagree with that totally, man. I disagree with that. I feel like y'all should do life together. It says for richer, for poor. You know, it says sickness and in health. So you guys got to be there for each other emotionally on every level.
Absolutely.
There's definitely power in that.
good.
You know, actually letting out your emotions and talking. Because even with you, Dad, we saw you. You know, you weren't stonewall with us when we were kids. Right. You could talk to us. We saw you. You know, we saw you and Mom how y'all dynamic were.
Right.
You know, we saw you in emotional states, how you handled them. And I feel like as a man, this ain't 1975 no more. You ain't, you know, you ain't got to be walking around here macho and this. No, because we all know how everybody is. You know, behind closed doors, everybody has emotions and deals with things. That's just it is. It's human nature. So you know, as men in 2024, we should all come to a place where you can express it. Because if you don't express it, it's just gonna blow up. It's not gonna be good.
Well, preaching, we got to remember meekness is not a weakness.
That's good.
You know, and we should have that meek spirit to where we can let our guard down. I think that's part of the problem with a lot of men today is that they're not vulnerable enough. And we're very, transparent at our church about how everybody should be in some level of therapy, counseling, things like that, and because again, you don't want your trust issues and your ego to cause you to not reach your full potential as an individual, because I believe he puts that wife in your life to complement and complete who you are. And for you to fight that off, you're doing yourself a disjustice. So I encourage dudes that are watching on today, be vulnerable. I mean, again, there are certain things that, maybe you can, take to another male, if you're dealing with something different, but then there should be some, you should be able to let your guard down and have certain conversations with your wife. Let me just say this is going to be kind of funny. Listen, if you're thinking about sleeping with your wife's best friend, don't tell your wife that.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't, dude. That's probably not the best time to. Yeah, man. That's probably not the best thing to tell her.
Hey, I've been thinking about sleeping with your friend.
That's weird.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't say nothing crazy like that.
That's crazy. Thoughts like that you should keep in your back pocket.
Yeah, go tell one of your partners.
Yeah, tell your homeboy
that. Can't tell your wife that, man.
You and him come in agreement that you're not going to do that.
Right. And even if you come in innocent, like, listen, I really want to talk to you. I'm attracted to your best friend, and like I wouldn't mind having intercourse with her, but I'm not going to. She's not hearing none of that. That's not going to go over.
Don't blow your whole foot off and blow your whole marriage up.
Great insecurity.
You got to listen. You might need to take that thought to the Lord. That's why we got him to lean on.
That's it. Like I'll give you case in point. I'm 52 now. At 27, I can remember operating a role as an elder at the time. I just became an elder at my dad's church, and I was counseling this young lady, and she made a sexual comment to me, something she should not have said.
Sure.
And when I kind of shut the meeting down, and I told my wife later when I got home, I said, hey, she said something very inappropriate to me. I said, so next time you see her around me at church, I need you to come and kind of introduce yourself and have a conversation with her. And my wife did just that 5 days later, because that happened on like a Tuesday, and then by Sunday, my wife saw that young lady approach me, and my wife came and was like, well, I'm Kelly, and introduced herself, and but I was grateful at that time. I can be vulnerable with my wife and say, hey, she said something inappropriate, where most men would have just kind of been like, you know what, let that just ride.
Right.
But I was able to go to her and be vulnerable, and I knew at that time my wife had the capacity to handle that. So it all worked out.
That's
so
good.
That's a great example of what it is. Both of those are great examples. So don't shoot yourself in the foot, fellas. We got to think before we speak. Use discernment.
That's right.
And if it's really something that you need to get off your chest, go to the homie, like the homeboy. Somebody or your dad or your uncle, or whoever it is that you talk to, and talk about those certain things.
Exactly.
And I'm glad you colored that up really good. We don't want nobody to get divorced based off watching our podcast. Pastor Steele, he said he wanted me to tell you, I've been wanting to have sex with everybody in your friend group. Jesus. No, we're not going to go there.
Right.
That's good, but that's a good topic. But like I said, I think we all agree there should be a nice medium between being a soft man and prideful. you got to kind of meet in the middle because you obviously don't want to be too soft,
right?
And we don't want to be too prideful because both of those are bad on both sides of the spectrum. We want to be right there in the middle with a good balance, using discernment and how we go ahead and allow us to be vulnerable to our ladies in our lives. That's great. Really quick before we get out of here, Carl Weathers passed away this week. If you don't know who he is, that is none other than the most famous guy that I seen growing up. As a black man on screen, he was Apollo Creed in Rocky 1, 2, and 3. He passed away at 76 years old this week, man. So R.I.P. to him right there, Carl Weathers. Shoot, in my opinion, he's a legend. You know,
for sure.
Legendary guy, had a legendary role. It was cool to kind of see his life. I didn't know his background. He went to Cal Poly, which you guys, Isaac and Ira, had a chance to play against them in high school. Cal Poly is huge out there football wise. He actually played for the Oakland Raiders. Had no idea about that. All while taking acting classes, and then lands this gig. And Carl Weathers has been in plenty of movies, from Rocky to Happy Gilmore. He was in a couple other ones too as well. So just want to say R.I.P. to him. And, our condolences to his family, a true legend. What did y'all, really quick, just talking about Carl, which Rocky y'all think was the best one? I know there was 5 of them, but Carl Weathers was in 3. He was in 1, 2, and 3. Which one do y'all think was the best?
Man, I'm going to say Rocky 3. Just as a kid.
With Mr. T.
Mr. T.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Rocky 3 just as a little kid, man.
AKA Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
Hey, woman.
Hey,
He was spazzing.
He's a cut of my apartment.
I'm going to show you a good time.
He said, I'll show you a real
man. Rocky like, let me out. Rocky, let me go. Boy.
Rocky was hurt.
What's his name? Mickey, old head was trying to go too. What's up? What you trying to do? Yeah, so I'll say Rocky 3.
Yeah, because Clubber Lang was talking about, you fighting all them bums and setups.
Right.
He pulled up to that boy's statue unveiling. That's disrespectful, man.
He did. He said, you give him a statue, you didn't give him some guts. He's like, he needs some guts.
Man, that boy, imagine somebody pull up to your statue unveiling and trying to get your woman, talking about, come back to my crib. Man, we going to have to get this over right there.
Rocky had no choice but to fight that brother. Even though Mick, the trainer, was like, nah, man, this dude going to whoop you. In so many words. But Clubber Lang wanted all the smoke. Pulling up to the unveiling of a statue is crazy.
Yeah, but Rocky 1 and 2, great films, man. Yeah. Great films. Like I love the whole dynamic between, of course, between Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa. And especially too, I think I don't know if it was Rocky 1, 2, or 3, but it was the ending. It might have been 3. The ending where they're about to
sparring.
And he was like ding ding, and they punched. That was 3. And then I remember like a painting. That's like,
that was cool.
As a kid, that's like something like little kids. We always watch the Rocky movies.
Always.
But that's like a scene that I always remember as like especially they were wearing red and yellow, running on the beach in the third one, training for Clubber Lang. So that's definitely a great movie.
It is. And then you guys probably don't remember Ken Norton Sr. Ken Norton Jr. played for the Cowboys and the Niners, played linebacker, but his dad grew up in the day he fought Muhammad Ali. Anyway, he turned down that role.
Right, as Apollo Creed.
As Apollo Creed. Yeah. So if it wasn't for that, man, we probably wouldn't even know who, Carl Weathers. You don't even know who he was.
He turned down a good deal.
He
probably didn't think Rocky would pop off like that though.
Nah.
And then of course Ivan Drago in the 4th one, he killed him in the ring, man.
Killed that man. That was crazy.
Rocky came out. I was like, all right, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. And then of course Rocky came out and fought him. I remember being a kid scared of him, man.
Who? The Russian dude.
Man,
he was
Ivan Drago. I remember being like, bro, this dude, different. He moving like Jokic, man.
Right.
Like he didn't care about nothing. All he wants is blood.
Dad came over to the house when we just randomly this week, and we were talking about Carl Weathers, and we were talking about all the iconic names in Rocky. Like whoever was coming up with these character names was dope. From Rocky Balboa to Apollo Creed to Clubber Lang to Ivan Drago. All these dudes. That's what I'm saying. Even in the 5th one, Tommy Gunn. Tommy who does the young fighter. They fought. But all these iconic names, man. Shout out to the writers for Rocky.
Yeah.
Those
Absolutely.
great job.
They did a great job.
Really great job.
Definitely shaped our childhoods too, man. So
Yeah.
But that's when Dad used to get us the boxing gloves and make us really fight in the living room. I was the oldest, so I'd have to get on my knees. I'd be fighting Isaac and Ira. Then we'd have our sisters put on the gloves. They'd be fighting each other.
Yep.
I mean, those are some good memories, man. Watching those back
I remember I got
then.
the all black gloves.
Yeah.
I remember I had some USA gloves. American flag gloves.
Yep.
I remember that we get 2 stools. Dad, you put the 2 stools in
the
each corner of the room and hit the microwave. That was the round.
The timer, the microwave.
A minute on the timer, we go out there, we all fight. So.
Which is so funny. We don't say do that with your kids because brain damage is a real thing. We didn't know in the '90s. We was just having fun.
Yeah, we don't want nobody getting concussions.
Yeah, good clean.
What is it? CTE.
Yeah, we want everyone to keep their mind stayed on Jesus. We'd have boxing parties in the neighborhood.
Raheem and them house.
Yep, Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Boxing parties.
Yeah, we'd fight them and go back to the crib and hang out, and those were some good times.
I know you were entertained, Dad. I would. If I had a whole bunch of little kids making them fight, I'd watch them in the neighborhood.
Loved it. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good times, man. You want to do Sunday recap?
Yeah, just a little bit recap. But we were, matter of fact, my wife and I, we tag teamed this past Sunday, and we came out of the book of Mark 3:25, where it says a house divided won't stand. And so we kind of just lingered with that scripture because we know the enemy, of course, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And our whole aim is that we want to make families united and stay healthy. And we know that's a job because everybody's wired different. People are sometimes going in different directions and so on and so forth. Sure. But our whole aim was, we want you to stay unified. And I love what Joshua said in Joshua 24:15. He said, for as me and my house, he said, we will serve the Lord. And me being the head of my house, that was a prerequisite that obviously when y'all were coming up and living under our roof, everybody going to church.
Yeah,
that was not optional, because I just felt like being a spiritual, leader of my house, that it makes a difference when everybody is in the house.
Yeah.
Because even Psalm 92:13, it says, those that are planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. Plus Proverbs 22:6 says to train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get old, they won't depart. That doesn't necessarily mean that they won't drift off, but because I've given them that foundation, they know that they can always come back to God, because Hebrews 13:5, he said, I'll never leave you, I'll never forsake you. So in a nutshell, that was kind of the aim this past Sunday, was that we want to see families united, because we know we live in a day and time where so many families are dysfunctional and unhealthy, and I even was transparent. I shared at the 11 o'clock service how we hit a wall in our family about maybe a month ago, and I had to fly one of my pastor friends in just to kind of bring counsel to our family, because sometimes it's important to bring an outsider in to kind of give you a different perspective, and to kind of that person sees things from a different lens, if you will, and is able to bring a level of safety to the situation. And so, because at the end of the day, if you say, well, we've never had problems in our family, I got a saying around here, keep living.
Keep living.
Because where there's people, there's going to be some poop.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is what it is. There's no ducking and dodging that, because people are human, and we're going to have human moments, but you have to still make up in your mind that we're going to work through these human moments, because there's still a blood trail, and we might as well get along, because you only got one life, and you might as well enjoy the journey. That's right. So that's kind of the aim that we came from on this past Sunday.
That's right, man. Sunday was great. We want to encourage you too. If you're watching the show and you are in the Phoenix area, come out to Kingdom Church, man. Please. I know we never really extend the invite, but we want to make sure that you are all invited to come check us out in person. You can be able to shake all of our hands, hang out with us, and really get a good word and experience what we do here on a week-to-week basis. Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., Kingdom Church, and then also Sundays, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Come on out and just experience what we call church and our lifestyle here at Kingdom. Want to thank you all for watching Still Strong Podcast, Season 2, Episode number 4. Obviously, we want you guys to all enjoy the Super Bowl this Sunday. Have a good, clean time with the family, good, clean fun with the family, and we'll see you guys soon. Make sure you have the best week ever.
Go Chiefs.
Peace.
Don't drink too much.
Go Steelers.